Where did you go?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Witches Hour. I'm Sid. I'm being a dick. We just played the intro video, and I said, "Well, I'm just sitting here going, okay, I'm just gonna like put the two ladies on video, and I'm gonna keep my video off after the intro video is done and see what they do."
We sat there like, where's Sid?
I was so confused.
Yeah, just sit there and smile. That's what you guys are supposed to do, I guess.
It's what we do best.
Hello, April. Welcome to the show. This is the Witches Hour. We are look. I deliberated about doing this show again. This is one of the very first shows that I ever started when I decided to start doing this podcast, entertainment type of stuff that I'm doing now. This was the very first thing I did, but it just seemed like it was, hello, Kathleen. It just seemed like for a while that it just felt kind of tainted because I went through so many different scenarios with this show and different co-hosts, and it felt like I needed to move on from it. I felt like I didn't want to come back to it. And here we are, by demand, surprisingly enough, by demand, we're doing the Witches Hour again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yay. Can I get a yay? Can I get a hell yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Don't get all excited at once.
Woo.
Hi, guys. April says hello, guys. April says that is normal. Well, I mean, I did this podcast for probably about a year and a half. And it was one of the things that I had. I had the Witches Hour. I had shows on YouTube, and I've met a lot of people throughout the last year and a half. I've met tons of witches across the globe and had some great interviews. Got to meet a lot of great people, and I always thought it was fun to get to know how people, what their practice is in their life, because you can always learn something from somebody else, and you can probably take that back home with you and what you do, whatever that is. So by popular demand, here we are. I'm bringing the Witches Hour back, and I figured tonight I got a couple songs I'll play tonight they're not metal songs, folks. So if you guys are anticipating some metal songs tonight, this is the wrong show for you guys tonight. I'll be playing I'm playing some pagan music tonight. I mean, this is what this show is. It's the Witches Hour. Hello, Bonnie Jean Holder. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Good to see you.
Hi,
Thank you for coming and saying hi. Do you know Bonnie?
I do. Bonnie Jean Holder.
All right.
She's my best friend. She's been my best friend for about 10 years or more.
All right. Nice. My sister, fuck yeah. Chris Thunderwolf Dotson. Hello.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you, buddy. So yeah, tonight we're gonna be talking a little bit about what we're gonna do with this show. Can we play WAP? Are we serious? No, not on this show. I've been hearing. Am I the only one that has not heard this song?
Okay, so little tidbit of information. My mom is 62 years old. My daughter decided to go down there and introduce her to this WAP song that stands for Wet Ass Pussy. And my mother was singing it.
I have not heard it either, Sid.
So I'm not the only one in this world that has not heard this song. I've been hearing this fucking shit for about 2 weeks now, and everybody's like making these memes about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even sure if I want to fucking hear this song. I'm not a Cardi B fan. That's who sings it, right? Cardi B?
Yes.
Oh, not a fan.
I'm not saying she's not a talented artist. I just have no desire to listen to Cardi B.
I'll give her that.
But yeah, I've been play Cardi B, not on this show.
Yeah, no, it's not the right platform for Cardi B.
No, I don't.
Not the right platform for it tonight. My sister, I love it. I love it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about ourselves a little bit tonight. We're going to be talking about the ideas of what we want to do with this show. So what I've always done is I've always brought people in on the show for like a sit down, talk to witches, get to know these witches. So that, and I always called that segment called Meeting a Witch. But we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna make this a show more content friendly as well, valuable content for all you pagans out there. When the old Wiccans, it doesn't matter really what path you're on. For us, this show is about all paths, everything, every path you follow. We're going to try to cover it for the most part. But we're going to be talking about Sabbats. Like we're going to come on to a big one here in October. We're going to have shows where we're talking about stuff about that, some correspondences and some cool spell work. Maybe we'll have a show dedicated to the paranormal. We know this. We're going to make this fun. My always dream is to bring mainstream and pagan into the same place. Be able to mix the two. So that's part of the idea, at least. Karen Posner says, "Hi, Stacy Aiken. Just say hi to her."
I forgot. Yeah, I can do that. I didn't want to interrupt you, and I just wanted to let her know that I noticed that she was here. She's one of our Sacred Market Gate
vendors.
Wonderful vendors, and I just wanted to thank her for showing up.
Yeah. She sells that cool ass shit too. What's it called? What is that art called?
The resin. She does the resin art stuff.
Fuck. Beautiful. She had some pretty cool fucking like that skull one was really cool. That pentacle was really cool. She was showing her little
Wheel of the Year thing. Yeah, she does some really cool stuff.
There was this lady that, because I do a lot of things. I do a little bit of wood burning myself, kind of art crafts of that. And not too long ago, I met that one of the ladies just became a vendor. She does wood burning art, and she put some of her stuff into the group, and it was a Ouija board, but it looked like it was made out of plank wood or a like skid, or like it was like a crate lid or something. And she made wood burn this fucking Ouija board, and I was like, man, I was approving it. I was approving posts, and I didn't realize who this person was. I was just like approving posts because she was an approved vendor. And I went back into the group to look, and I was looking through her shit, and I was like, man, all right, I'm glad that I resigned from trying to sell anything in this place. That would have been, there was no competition.
Competition is good.
She was blown. Does beautiful work. That's what I like about this group, is that you're getting to see all these people, their handcrafted work, all that intent being put into stuff they're doing. It's good to go in there and see all that.
Yeah, we have some very, very talented artists and vendors, and a lot of fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to spending some money soon.
Right.
Y'all know I like to shop.
We do know that, Cynthia. We do. we do.
You're a shopaholic.
And purchase a few myself. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for payday. I'm like, ooh, what can I get into now?
Absolutely.
Stacey, wood burning is so awesome. It is. It's fun. With me though, it's like I'm a what's it called? ADHD pagan. That's what I am. I jump around. I can't stay focused on one thing for very long. I'll start crafting. All of a sudden, I'll take the break and start crafting, and I'll start doing a bunch of wood burning art. The next thing you know, I'll stop doing that, and I'll start doing shows again. And then I'll stop doing shows for a week or two, and then go back to doing some crafting. I don't know. I'm just like a pagan with HDAD or whatever it is.
It's a form of relaxation for me when I'm in the kitchen and I'm putting intent into my candles, or I'm creating bars or owlens out of dressers. It's my way to get away from this form of reality and put my intentions into something that I know is going to bring somebody some good. And I'm sure wood burning has got to be relaxing, because the smell of the wood and the way you have to articulate what you're doing, I can only imagine it brings the same. As well,
it reminds me, when I do it, like having that wood burning pen in my hand kind of reminds me of like a wood burning Harry Potter. And I'm holding that wood burning pen like a wand, and I'm putting tons of intent into this artwork. And what's fun for me is that when I start smelling that wood burner, it puts me in a frame of mind of me being somewhere in the woods in a campfire, and I'm smelling that wood burning, and that just reminds me of being somewhere isolated, wood burning, being at campfire. Yeah, yeah,
Out in nature, a part
out
of
in nature.
nature.
I
Yes.
can't be out there right now,
Ugh.
so the
Yeah,
next things I could do is do wood burning.
I get it. I actually do have ADHD, and it makes me a really good multitasker, but it also makes me really, really good at leaving things unfinished. So
That's me.
I have projects like if you could see my desk, you would just laugh because there are so many half finished projects, but the sitting down and the creating of the jewelry and working with the wire and the stones, and putting the intent into them. I always joke around and say that the stones talk to me and tell me what I should do with them, and it really is true. Um, and we talk to them by putting our intentions in them as our creations.
Bonnie Jean says, I am the same way. Painting, jewelry, candles, oils, got craft stuff everywhere.
That's my girl. I was
Catherine
diagnosed
says,
with ADHD as a child. They put me on Ritalin, and I had the privilege of walking around emotionless with no emotions. Now that I'm older and I've learned how to control it a tidbit,
Hmm.
my mom has always referred to me as having two brains. I can be doing like 15 different things at one time, keep up with all of it. But the secret to my method is this: in order for me to be able to focus on one, I have to focus on many so I don't get bored. So my mom likes
Right.
to tell people when they meet me that I have two brains. Both of them work on an equal balance, and I have to be able to keep both of them excited in what I'm doing in order to be able to complete a project. It's complicated.
That's a good
the life of a
description.
witch. The life of a witch. It's
Yes.
definitely life of a witch is definitely sometimes can be a little bit complicated. We make it that way because we study. We
There's
just
so
don't
much to learn,
we
and it
just
never
don't jump right
stops.
into it. We take our time. At least for me, I'm speaking for myself. As I just don't jump into something. I research it. I study it. I want to constantly learn something. I'm always challenging myself to up my game or whatever it is I'm doing in my practice.
My goal in life is to reach the higher level. Whatever that is, I want to be there before I go from this plane anyway. So, my way of thinking about it is this: the more knowledge you have, the more power you gain, the closer you can get to where you need to be. I wholeheartedly feel like I've been put here to help people. I'm a worker, y'all know that. And I
Yeah,
figure if
man.
I'm putting in all this work, then I should be able to help other people as well as help myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
think a lot of us are helpers. You know,
Yes.
that's why we keep learning and improving and doing the things that we do and awakening the talents that we already have. We just might not know it yet.
Make
Stacy
the world a
Ann
better
says, "Want to challenge yourself? Try resin." Oh, I bet that's a challenge.
I bet. It
Only,
looks
re-
beautiful though. The way
only
they make it
resin
look on
I'm
the
fucking
commercials
with.
is so simple.
They
The
make
only
it look
resin
so easy when you watch the videos, but I know it's
It's
not.
not.
It
It can't
it
no.
be.
can't be. Can't
The
be.
only
I'm
resin
not
I'm
even going
fucking
there,
with.
Stacy.
Only resin I'm fucking with is the resin I'm cleaning out of my bowl.
I knew
Hey,
that was
she
coming.
makes some
I knew that was
awesome
coming.
rolling trays too. Just saying.
Yes, that's part of a witch's life too. Cannabis. There's such thing as cannabis practice in witchcraft. I don't care what you say. A lot of shamans use marijuana, cannabis in their practice. I'm one
Indians
of those
use it
guys
as
that
well.
I do. Everything,
I
almost
don't,
every
but
ritual,
I'm weird, so it's okay.
every ritual that I do, I use cannabis. It helps me focus, helps settle me down. It gives me more time to do what I want to do. I don't feel like if I'm not, I feel like I'm rushing myself. I want to feel like
I have
Gandalf.
one of those beautiful jobs that don't allow you to do these things. So I fly sober, other than maybe some wine or an alcoholic beverage every now and again. Now,
Me
back in my
too. Me
younger
too.
years, I did participate, and being out in nature and doing that was a wonderful feeling. Like, it just enlightens you. It helps move you up to me. But I no longer participate because I love my job.
There you go.
Anyways, let's talk about some of our past. Now, there's interesting question. Do you guys have a spiritual name? Do you guys that some people share, some people don't? I used to share mine a lot. Before I decided to go back to my Sid Ryder, I was going under my witch name, which was Mirrodin Seer. Do you guys have a magical name?
I don't.
My
No.
name, and I forgot where I looked it up at, but it actually means Cynthia means moonlight, and my last name, my maiden name, is Reed, and it means moonlight waterfall. So for a while, I did go by that, but it's been many, 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 many moons ago. I just have, I guess maybe I looked up my name just to see what it meant, and that's what it means. So a lot of times I think people do have names. I just never really have.
It
I
feels
didn't
like
feel
to me.
connected to that one either. Like it.
I think I think there was a time frame that were like in the 80s and 90s where there was this big, huge stigma over witchcraft, and Wiccan just started. Wicca just started to make the scene in the early 90s, and but even though it was starting to become more mainstream, there was still this stigma, and I think ultimately, I think that time period, I think people used a magical name to keep their identity safe. That way, they wasn't exposed to
Right.
the public
Yeah.
with it. That way, they didn't get chastised and shit.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I don't have one.
I have
Wow.
been out of the broom closet for over 15 years, and I have a policy. My mother is my queen, okay? And as long as she approves of me, I don't really care about what other people think. So when I come out of the broom closet, I was just like, I'm a witch. What's up? I don't care if you like it or not.
Hey, Sid, Stacy asked a good question. How does one come up with a name? I always have heard that the name is given to you by your spirit guides or by
No.
no. Okay.
No, that I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because that does happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're given to you. Sometimes you find your name. You make your name. You can make your own name up if it resonates with you. If it feels good if it rolls off your tongue, then that's your witch's name. It doesn't have to be given to you to have a witch's name. Sometimes it's just something you give yourself. But that's a good question, because my magical name was given to me. I met a witch. I lived in the Smoky Mountains at the time. I lived in Gatlinburg, and she lived in this cabin. She was. I'm not going to give names out, but she's probably, rest her soul, she's long gone by now, because it's been 10 years or so since I've spoke to her, and she was a little old lady, but she was a mountain. I called her a mountain witch, and she knew that I was practicing, and she knew that I've been spending a lot of time outside in nature a lot. So I was like, what I've always wanted a magical name, a witch's name. She goes, honey, give me about a week, 2 weeks, and I'll have you one. And what she done is she took my full name, my full biological name. She took all the letters, did an anagram, and came up with Mirrodin Daryl Seer. Everything in this magical name is from my biological name. It was just rearranged for my witch's name, which is Mirrodin, like I said, Mirrodin Daryl Seer. That as soon as she told me that name, it struck a chord. I was like, oh man, I love it. Come to find out, about 2 years ago, I did some research on this name. Mirrodin was actually Welsh for Merlin. And before Merlin took his name Merlin, like we all know Merlin by, his original name, his birth name was actually Mirrodin. And they considered him a crazy man of the woods. And when
Cynthia, we got to try that. Maybe
that
we
would
can
be
come up-
interesting. Yes.
That would be really cool.
And
That would be awesome.
end of the story, he didn't become Merlin until the land was in disarray, and King Arthur needed him and his pagan magic, as Arthur would say. and that's when he became the magician that we know today as Merlin. But his name was Mirrodin for the longest time. And then the seer part, there was another guy during the witch hangings that he was a fortune teller. He was a psychic, but he was one of the very few male witches during that time that came out. And because of that, people were scared of him, and he was part of the witch burnings as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That is
I was
very
blown
cool.
away.
Behind it too, as well.
Yeah, that's very cool.
I was blown away by it. So yeah, I witch's name. So I have one. I used to use it, but I don't.
So I think it just depends on personal preference. Like whatever is drawn to you, whatever calls to you, look deep into it, find out what it means, and then maybe choose your own or have somebody that's a higher up. Like I have people, you were saying something about people internationally. I have people that are witches in England that I've been associating with for years and years. They come out of the woodworks once, I guess maybe you're out of the broom closet, and I don't know how many you could do that, but, I had a high priestess that was actually a big part of my life for about 5 years. And I'm sure by now she may have already passed away. I would hate to say that. She was a much, much older lady than me. I mean, she'd been practicing for as long as I had been born. And I guess it just depends on what calls to you, what you feel like calls your name or is your name.
Let me ask you ladies this. What was it? What was it about witchcraft paganism that drew you guys to want to? Because ultimately, this is a lifestyle. This isn't a fad. This is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. What part of this lifestyle? What was it that drew you guys into become pagan/witches?
Karen, you want to take this one first? Mine's a little long.
Yeah. For me, it started with the complete rejection of organized religion. I find religion fascinating. Don't get me wrong. I've studied it and I've learned it, and I find it a fascinating phenomenon of the world. And in that research, that opened up the doors of that so much of religion is based on paganism. And then it was like, oh, I should read more about this. And on top of that was just the gifts that I've had my whole life that were not recognized. It was always that, God, you're weird. This isn't normal. Why do you do this kind of thing? And then when you get introduced to the witchcraft and the paganism, it's all of a sudden you fit in. You actually fit in. There are other people just like you. So for me, in a nutshell, that was it.
What about you, Cynthia? In a nutshell.
In
a nutshell, please.
Okay, so I spent the first probably 15, 20, maybe even 25 years of my life as a Christian. I studied the book, I walked the walk, I went to church, I gave my tithes and blah, blah, blah. No knocking, okay? Because that's not what I'm here for, because I don't knock anybody. They're all connected. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yes.
Now, with that being said, along about the lines of about 25 to 28 years old, I started noticing things. And these things really kind of opened my eyes to make me wonder what else was out there. I could dream things and have proitions, and I would get tidbits of information, and then it would feel like deja vu. Okay, I didn't ask for that. And of course, in the Bible, it teaches you that all that has come to pass and it's a sin and you've been touched by the devil or whatever. Okay, yeah, no. I
have been.
Okay.
I was molested by the devil once.
I'm not touching that.
My thing is this. I needed something with more freedom. And I do not believe that I am condemned to hell first of all, I didn't ask to be here. Second of all, I didn't ask to be given the choices that I've had to make over my life. And I have a hard time believing that somebody is going to condemn me to hell for the decisions that I have been forced to make. Now, with that being said, my pagan path started somewhere between the lines of 28 and 25, and I'm now 41 years old. I have learned that my ADHD is not a curse. It is actually a blessing. I have learned that who I am as a person does not need to come from a book. I live my life daily, and I don't believe in harming anyone unless you push my button. Now, with my pagan religion, I was more drawn to nature and figuring out what the mind is capable of doing, because I feel like in a lot of ways, Christianity, government, and other people tend to stifle that. When you see things as a kid and your parents would tell you, oh, it's just your imagination. No, I see
Yeah,
somebody standing here. I'm
absolutely.
not imagining
Absolutely.
this. So, like, a lot of it has been shut down. And I think it's because if we really mentally realized what we were capable of doing, there would be a lot more people who are involved with the higher self. And that's been my quest. The mentality of it, the ability to love everybody. I don't hold no grudges. You're not going to tell me what I can and can't do. But at the same time, there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. And there's always rules. So that's pretty much what led me to it, is the fact that I believe that there was more out there for me, that it wasn't just some do and do not. And oh, by the way, you're going to burn in hell. No, I'm not. I'm a good person. I have no reason to be in everlasting pit. You know what I
Just
mean?
don't
A
piss
fiery
Cynthia off.
brimstone.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Bonnie Jean says, "Oh God, please don't make sin mad." So don't be over there cursing a bitch, okay?
So that's what it was for me. Is
Oh God, she's gone. Oh, she's back.
then what's been set out that says you can't do this, you can't do that, and you're not supposed to do that. To me, it tells me that there's more out there, and I need to find out what it is. In a nutshell.
That's how it
In a
was. That
nutshell.
was how it was. In a nutshell, for me, it was. I was about 9 years old, and this is going to sound odd, but I was about 9 years old, and my grandmother passed away. And I guess that from that point on, I kind of believed in something, some sort of magic, because I was always. Now that I'm older, I reflect on the things that I was doing when I was 9, 10, 11 years old. I spent a lot of time talking to my grandmother after she passed. And I would spend a lot of time in my room talking with her and speaking with her, and it led me to finding different ways to communicate with her. And it led me to, for a while, I thought that she would be in heaven, so I would go to church. And then at one point in time, I was going to be a youth minister. And then I started, they tell me to stay away. I've always, they told you to stay away from all the bad, like rock music and metal. Then for me, it was more like, okay, it drew me more to want to see what it is more. So metal, ultimately, rock and roll, heavy metal music, ultimately is what got me to want to start practicing some sort of witchcraft. And for me, it was just, they would say devil worshiper. So I guess at some point in time, I was a devil worshiper, the Bible version of the devil. As I got older, I kind of left it for a while because I played a lot of music a lot. So religion and spirituality wasn't really part of my life until I met my first wife. And then that's when she officially, and I was about my early 20s, about 21, maybe 22 years old. And that's when she introduced me to Wicca. It just started to become popularized at this time. And she just came out of a coven, and she always talked and praised how much she enjoyed being part of the coven, being part of the rituals. But like I said, at this time, it was still kind of taboo. So it was hard to find. There was no internet. There was no cell phones. It was hard to find these small private covens. So I kind of always had to do everything on my own, solitary witch type practice myself, because I didn't have anybody. So it was all books. And from there, I just kind of built my own type of practice and how I felt was comfortable for me. Later on in life, as your life goes on, we all know we start off one way, and then we end up at the very end something totally different from what we started off doing. So now it's just kind of I look at magic now more of life. Everything we do in life is magic. We get up to do our daily tasks. We get up to go to work. We get up to spend times with the kids. That's magic. striking those human emotions and those feelings and pulling those heartstrings. For me, that's the true meaning of magic. All the practices, all the spells, all of the books, to me, it's not needed no more. For me, it's just not needed no more because I found that peace that works for me in my path. You don't need, because it's all, at the end of the day, it's all a craft. It's witchcraft. It's for you to craft for your own.
Everything
Absolutely.
is interconnected. Everything that you do affects your path. And the more you understand that, the more you become enlightened to not doing bad things or harmful things to the planet or to animals. You understand that everything, what goes up, must come
Everything
down.
has an energy exchange. Magic is energy exchange.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything has an energy exchange. So now, what do I do now to have that positive energy exchange? Now my craft is doing these shows, putting together podcasts, running these groups, putting my touch, my stamp, my imprint, my spell. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I post stuff, and you guys are wondering, well, this dude's posting a meme of some dog humping some chick over the bed. And the next thing you know, you got dog ears and dog tongues on the chick. Well, why did I post that? There's reasons why I do that. It's because I'm trying to strike and I'm trying to spark that energy of laughter, a smile,
A lightener mood.
giving somebody, maybe that person was having a bad day and they was thumbing through their feed and they, oh, look at this. Let's just fucking do. What is this dude doing? And they're laughing. That's why, because everything I post has a magical intent to it behind it every time. That's my magic now. I don't need to write sigils. I don't need to do this and that anymore. I'm projecting my magic in a different form.
See, I'm a healer. I'm a helper. I do Reiki. I use energy endlessly. And once you tap into that energy source of the universe and you can channel it, amazing things happen.
I feel like the Wizard of Oz. I feel like the Wizard of Oz. I feel like the guy behind the curtains. I feel like the guy behind the curtains that's creating this world, this big world. And ultimately, isn't that magic? I think what we're doing, we're creating our world.
Well, that's a lot of what we're doing with the Facebook groups is we are creating our own world. We are creating our own sacred space where we can all be and be together and share that energy. And yeah, we all do our own part of it with the shows, with the work in the websites, with everything we do.
I wholeheartedly
So we're going to No, go ahead, Cynthia. Go ahead.
I wholeheartedly believe that it's all about the mindset. If you get up in your morning and you're going to continue with your daily routine and you get up and you're like, hey, I'm going to have a great day today. This is going to happen for me because I am blessed, I'm strong, and I am powerful. I believe that the mindset has everything to do with what you project out. You don't necessarily, and see, a lot of people, I think that they have to have tools. I have a whole altar. I have a whole room designated. That's where I'm sitting at, to my beliefs and my wisdom, and what I want to project out into the world, which is, love, peace, and kindness above all. But, I do have that darker side. If you can think it, you can make it happen. And that's the magic in everyday life.
See, look what we did right now. This is what we did right now, ladies. This is what this show has always been about for me. Reading this comment right now by Elizabeth Tenney. Yes. Y'all are.
I just read that.
Feels so good to hear things out loud from others that I've been feeling for a long time. That's what this show is going to be designed to do, is to be able to bring people together that are like-minded, that are able to feel and say what they feel. At the end of the day, we are under the umbrella of paganism. Yes, pagans are beings of the woods, of nature. We are creatures of nature. But also, it also means freedom. It also
Yes.
means the freedom to choose whatever path that you want to choose. That being said, ladies, I'm going to play a song. I hope you guys don't mind. And when we're done with this song, we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more. But I got a good song. It's an artist called Saronis Rising, and the song is called "The Witch's Tree."
Cool.
I sit beneath the witch's tree, the elder mother talks to me. A journey to the other side, the fragrance takes me there. Old lady standing wise and bent midsummer's night, I breathe your scent, the other world so near so far, so will you lift the veil? I sleep beneath the witch's tree, the rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight. I watch them as they shine. Breathe deep and drink a wine. Oh, Queen of herbs, good fortune bring you mystic healing ways. I sing for you, I'll meet the fairy folk, all dancing in a ring. Old girl, give up thy sacred word and stop at one. To me you should, for I will give you some of mine when I become a tree. I sleep beneath the witch's tree. The rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight. I watch them as they shine. Breathe deep and drink a wine. And the power, see ahead more clearly now, the path within the mist. Oh, lady standing wise and bent midsummer's night, breathe your scent, the other world so near so far, I see beyond the veil. I sleep beneath the witch's tree, the rollright stones watch over me. The fae, they dance by full moonlight. I watch them as they shine. Be deep and drink a wine.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yep.
yeah.
Love it.
I'm just sitting here just bobbing away, getting down to it.
Me too. I was like totally getting into it
I love
while
my
also answering.
questions. We got questions. So let's get to the comments. Ronald, good
Yeah,
evening. Thanks for coming by and saying hello to us tonight. Kathleen, before we do anything, I want to
Kathleen had a question.
I want to acknowledge something about Kathleen. This lady, we've been friends now for a while. We've had conversations in Messenger, and we was doing a like cleansing light segment in our group, and she was one of the people that was going in to get tested for cancer, and she was really worried about it. Well, she came and got a hold of everybody, went into the group, posted that she's cancer free
Wonderful.
now. So I want to say,
So good.
I want to give her props because she was a trooper. She handled it really well. I don't know exactly what Kathleen means here, but it's more of a testament to Sid. I don't know what I've done. I've done nothing. But Kathleen, ask us your question because I want to answer. This is opportunity right now. We'll do a quick Q&A. If you guys got some questions, something that you guys are curious about, leave a comment. We'll get to them.
Yeah, questions for any of
Absolutely.
us, not just Super Sid over there.
Yeah,
Not just me,
right?
any
Yeah.
of you guys.
Happy
Any of you
to
guys.
answer any questions or maybe give point of views, possibly.
Yeah,
What
or
do you
maybe
think?
anything you'd like to hear us talk about on future shows.
Yes, that would be wonderful too.
Bravo, great message. Cancer free is a great feeling. I know she was really worried about it, and I felt so bad for her. And we did a ritual. It was a full moon ritual. I think I did live in the Sacred Gates, and she was one of the people that I burnt bay leaves for, and I had her on my prayer altar as well, healing altar as well, because I got like three or four working altars in my place that I have set up designated for certain areas. But yeah, here she goes. It says no radiation or chemo. You led the charge. Kathleen, thank you. That was very nice to hear. You're gonna make me blush. If this old man will blush, I'll be blushing right now.
Oh, that's Ronald had an interesting question. How do you come up with your format?
Well, for this show, it's a little bit different than my Into the Fire show. My Into the Fire show it's a rock show. It's more like a headbanger's ball, which I appropriately called it earlier today, like a delinquent's ball.
Yeah.
That's a music show, and I have a huge place in my heart for music. So that shows for that. But the Witches Hour is another one of my passions, but it's my pagan life. Wow, that sounds like a TV show, doesn't it? My Pagan Life.
It really does.
Yeah.
Life.
We should do a
Yeah,
reality show.
I should do a
Right.
reality. I've been thinking about doing that, by the way, doing a reality show of just how like a day-to-day living. It's no different. Us pagans are no different than anybody else out there in the world. We live the same lives. We do the same things that everybody else does. Just when we're home, when we have these special times, some people might like just listening to music, or some people might just like playing video games. For me, it's my release, my time to center is during my witchcraft time.
Yep.
He enhances other magic. Do I?
Others magic.
I'm a generator.
I don't get that.
I'm a generator.
True.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know why he enhances others' magic. I mean, maybe just because I give so much of a positive reinforcement. Maybe when I try to, I don't let anybody feel down. I don't like talking to somebody when they're feeling down, and maybe it's just my positive reinforcement. I don't know.
Yeah, that is definitely very powerful and puts forth a lot of energy, and to help people, you know.
I'm like, as an empath, a lot of people come to me that I don't know, and they'll tell me about their problems, or their woes. And for me, when they give that to me, I try to project it into something for them to experience as a positive. Like, when someone comes to me and they've had just a really bad day, or they've decided, maybe they just can't go on. I try to send a message through the universe that lets them know that they are strong enough, that they are going to be okay. And I try to give my energy to that person so that they can work through it, and they will see that there's light at the end of that tunnel. Because there's a lot of times when you're in a dark place, you need somebody to help you. And mentally, you can do that just by sending them love, sending them nourishment, doing anything to reroute that person's brain to let them know that everything is going to be okay. There's a lot of people out there dealing with suicide. dealing with deaths in the family. I speak from personal experience. And you have to understand that it just because it's a bad day, it doesn't mean that it's the end of the road.
There's an
So
interesting.
you have to be very careful as an empath to also not give
Take
too
in
much.
too much. Yes.
Yes.
I have to be very, very careful because I'm a giver. I'm a saver, and I can just get so depleted that I have to really, really shield myself from getting bombarded with too much at once and giving out too much at once. But you're right. Even something as simple as a smile and a kind word can actually change the entire trajectory of someone's life.
Yes.
Yes. So we got a question by Ronald here. He says, I studied paganism. Are you a true multi-god worshiper? Okay, I'm gonna answer for myself real quick, and I'll let you guys answer. I do not worship no god. I do not worship no gods. I do not worship a god or goddess. I honor gods. Now I do things where I honor certain ones that resonate with me, which is no different than someone who honors a figure from the Bible like Moses or somebody. You know, I just have a hard time. I have a hard time worshiping any god. I don't do that. If there's any god that I worship, it's myself.
Yeah, I like that. I'm the same way. I worship no gods. I'm going to venture to say that Cynthia and I are going to have a pretty similar answer. I worship nature. But other than that, I really have a hard time with that God thing. And in the end, I have to depend on myself and worship myself because I'm the one that is going to make things happen. And that's pretty much, I mean, I don't disrespect anybody else's views or anybody else's gods, but it's not part of my practice.
Yay, it's my turn.
Oh no, this is going to be long.
Here we go. I'm going to make it really short and try to make it simple. Okay. In biblical terms, if you want to go to the Holy Bible, it says, he who is within me is also within you, which means you are a god. You have to treat yourself as a god and or goddess. Do things and appreciate yourself and celebrate yourself as you would any other god. I, however, do have my favorites. I am very big into Greek mythology. Odin, Freya, and Thor. As you all know, I am obsessed with Vikings. I love the Viking way of doing things. You can't hear me coming if I've got an axe. And that's kind of how I view my life. I am very heavily into nature. If I can just get out and run barefooted, it frees my soul. If I could do it naked, I would. I'm not scared and not ashamed to admit it. So as far as believing in gods, yes, but treating myself as a higher authority also plays a big part in my life. And my root connection is I'm a tree hugger. You'll see me touch trees. You'll see me run barefooted in the grass. I don't pick flowers. I will never, not unless they're dead. Now, if they're dead, I'll snip them off and I'll thank the plant for their donation. But as far as believing in multi-gods, I guess if that's multi, then yeah, they all come from pretty much the same family. Thor is my guy. And I'm not talking about the guy that plays Thor. I'm talking about the actual Thor. He's cute though. So yes, nature is definitely my ruler.
So Ronald says maybe the word worship is not the right word, but sky god, water god is what we are taught to believe. So what you're talking about, Ronald, is talking about like when we're doing, like you're casting circles and you're talking about the elements. But that's still kind of that. That's still a bit different, I think, than, you know, I don't consider air, fire, all that like gods or whatever. I just consider them respecting nature's elements. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Nothing is refined unless it's been put through fire. And when we are going through fire on this planet, when we are feeling like we are being put through hell, that is in fact refining us to a better understanding of who we are.
I don't think
That's
you can
like,
evolve to your higher self without hardship, without
no.
going through that fire and being reborn into the next level of yourself.
I know that me personally, like as an empath, we were speaking on this earlier. When you give too much of yourself, you have to re energize, you have to recharge. For me, getting in the shower and just laying there and letting the water pound on my back and my head. A lot
That
of times I'll
doesn't
take a cold shower. Wrong analogy, I guess.
Pound your back.
Me,
What-
I prefer to just simply spend a little time outdoors in nature.
Yes. Well, that or putting my feet in a running stream
Right.
helps re-energize me, especially like out in nature. It doesn't matter if it's in the shower, even though it's chemicalized, but nature does do me better than. But I know, like, for example, when I come home from work today, I really was not doing anything. But I got myself in the shower and I just stood there for a minute and just let it wash away all that negativity or whatever it was that was holding me down. And instantly you feel better. So the elements out there are left here for us to be able to recharge and remember what we are doing or where we come from.
I love it. I take a bath every day when I get home from work. It's my ritual. It's whatever else gone on through the day at work. I'm hopping in that
Wash it
bath.
off.
I'm washing all that shit away. I used to live off grid in the Smoky Mountains for 10 years. I had a little cabin. I lived in the middle of nowhere. I had a little rescue farm. I had an emu. I had chickens. I had a little black bear family. I had to make my windmill. I got my water from a fresh stream, mountain stream water, and I lived this way for 10 years. And you learn to appreciate what nature is. If anything at all that I worship, and if anything at all that I worship, I would say that I worship Mother Nature. She is the most important. She is the most important thing to me. She is the most important thing for my children and their children. So if I don't show love to her, then what am I leaving behind for my generations and generations that are going to be before me?
Yes. For me, I guess the way that I see things is I have kids and I have grandkids out here. And if I don't respect what we have to live on, everything that Mother Nature gives to us, she gives freely. So I kind of refer to like life and living in houses and going to work every day. It's a matrix. It's a big organization that keeps us busy to keep us from figuring out who we are actually supposed to be or what we are capable of. If you keep the human occupied with frivolous things, then the human will become more focused on what it can get instead of what it's perceived.
That was deep, Cynthia. Listen to you.
Damn.
So here's what's happening, guys. We're approaching the witch's hour. Now it's up to everybody who's watching. If you guys want us to go over a little bit, I'll be more than happy to go over time a little bit. After this show, I think there's another show, if I'm not mistaken, at 10 o'clock. There's another show on Psychomantium 13, and damn it, I can't remember the name of the show, but it's Liz and Frank. They're the moderators in the chat right now. If you guys are still watching, could you guys pop a link up in here to Psychomantium in the chat here, so when this live is over, people can go to it. But we're going to run over. We're just going to run over a little bit. We're not going to like kill it, but what we're going to do is we're going to run over a little bit. I'm going to play another song. This one, if I'm not mistaken, let me check and make sure. Just get you guys in that witchy mood. I got an S.J. Tucker song, if I still have it here. Let me look here. Yes, S.J. Tucker. I've played her on another one of my shows last week, but this is one of my favorite songs by this lady, and this is a Cheshire Kitten, and we are all mad here.
I grew up seeing things a little differently, appearing, disappearing, hardly innocent, nor tied down to the ground. I learned to roll and tumble with the punches, glory in my stripes and spots, walk by invisible and never make a sound. But heavy is the crown that's always hidden, tender is the heart you never see. Hard and fast shines the grin that we flash, but there's a vulnerable stripe or two on me. Maybe any place outside of Wonderland is not for me, my friend. If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay. Sun up, sundown, the shadows hide me down in Wonderland. Wonderland, nobody knows the way, but if you find it in your dreams, you can find it at your day job, somewhere south of hell. Take the path to left or right with just your gut to guide you. The story is not for anyone else to tell. Go down the rabbit hole and out the other side. You can't go home in the middle of the magic carpet ride. You gotta grade the sun before his lovely daughter moon. You can't forsake the journey for the safety of your room until you learn your lesson well. I have learned to see and hear everybody loud and clear, but the truth comes down in riddles that are safe enough to share. That's how it is in songs you see, and stripes always looked good on me, whether or not I'm really there. Heavy is the burden of the wise ones, when no one understands a word they say. The Jabberwock never bothered anyone, but nobody believes him to this day. Hey, and why should they? If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay. Sun up, sundown, the shadows find me out in Wonderland. Wonderland, nobody knows the way, but if you find it in your dreams, you can find it at your day job, somewhere south of hell. Take the path to left or right with just your gut to guide you. The story is not for anyone else to tell. Gotta greet the sun before his lovely daughter moon. You can't forsake the journey for the safety of your room until you learn your lesson well. Learn your lesson well. Learn your lesson well. Is it the stripes or the spots you see? Was it hearts or diamonds, baby, brought you here to me? Darling, you know better than to trust a pack of cards. What have we learned? The world is never as mad as it could be. Never as mad as it could be. If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay. If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay. If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay. If I leave my grin behind, remind me that we're all mad here, and it's okay.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was S.J. Tucker. Cynthia and me were just sitting back. I was sitting over here singing. I can see Cynthia singing behind the scenes. I love S.J. Tucker. She has this unique way of telling stories in her songs that just it begins, it climaxes, and it ends, and it's one big story, and how the lyrics are just kind of interwoven together. I love her. I love her music. I love her music. Her voice is amazing as well. So everybody, thanks for showing up tonight. Thank you. This is the Witches Hour. I'm Sid, Cynthia, and Karen. Just to let everybody who doesn't know, we've been multi-streaming tonight on 3 different platforms or 3 different places. My profile, Psycho Bunny Death Cult. If anybody out there is watching this on my profile, be sure to go like and follow the page Psycho Bunny Death Cult. That's where I'm going to be doing all my shows from. Into the Fire, the Witches Hour, all going to be here right here on this network. Plus, I'm streaming on YouTube today as well. So once this show is done, it will save on the YouTube channel, and you guys can watch it there. We watch the show there as well. So yeah, a lot of cool things going on tonight.
Very
So,
cool.
okay, we're going to get a question. Kathleen got a question for you, Cynthia. You mentioned deja vu earlier. I don't remember who told me, but I now see it as a affirmation that you're right where you belong. Deja vu, as for me, deja vu, this is my opinion for deja vu. I think it's DNA from your ancestors that they've been there before, and you're just kind of remembering where they've been at before. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I would think so. For me, it was a tad bit different, and a little awkward. So my first, and this is my most prominent memory, and there's been several since then. I know that something different is going to happen in my life when I dream about it, and then later on I see it in my life. I had a dream. The dream was of a pair of work boots and pants in a small electrical facility. And this is going to sound weird at first, but just bear with me, okay? This gentleman, who I could feel his male energy in the dream, and it was a very realistic dream, come to me and kissed me up against the wall.
Are you sure this is not a wet dream?
This is not a wet dream. This is not a wet dream.
All right.
I did not realize until about 4.5, 5 months later that I had actually had a prophecy, I guess, of a major individual in my life. He was the first love of my life, and he had on a pair of black work boots and black jeans, and we were in the electrical room. He could not read. He was illiterate, so I was actually picking out the words for him. And he decided that he was going to let me know how he felt about me by kissing me. I will never forget it. I even kind of pushed him back because I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And a lot of times now, my memory, I guess as I've gotten older, the dreams I don't always remember, and I really need to start a log. That helps out a great deal.
Me too.
Dreams are, yep.
Yes. If you start a log, if it wakes you up in the middle of the night, write down just a little bit of tidbits of information that you can remember, because 9 times out of 10, they play a significant part in your life. He was in my life for 4 years. I bawled and squalled when me and him broke up. It was a 16-year-old, that first love, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know what love's supposed to feel like, but you're infatuated with this person. He was a roofer. He had black hair and blue eyes. I won't go into any detail other than that, but he was a big, big part of my life.
Please don't.
Please, yeah, please.
And and that was the first time I can ever remember. Also, when I was growing up, a lot of people don't believe in gods, but they believe in angels. I was in a really bad place at the age of 14 years old. My dad was very abusive. And I remember waking up in the morning, and my bed used to be by an open bay window. And I seen this angelic figure floating over the top of my bed. And she was just basically there to let me know that everything was going to be okay. So if you open up your mind enough, you can see the signs of where you're supposed to be. And in order to do that, you just kind of have to free yourself. You have to come out of this matrix, is what I like to call it, and elevate your mind to the point where when you do see these things going on and it feels like a deja vu, you're in the place that you're supposed to be. I needed him in my life at that time. And my mom and dad got divorced. My dad tried to shoot my mom. This is a true story. And during that time, him being my rock is what I needed. And I guess that's why I dreamed about him. I don't know. Years passed. 4 years later, we separated. I have never forgot him. I will always remember him and hold him in my heart. But at the same time, you know, life has a funny way of moving on. And once we got past all that, I realized that that was just my higher self letting me know the significance of the importance of the role that he was sent to play in my life.
I think you're totally right about a couple of things. People come into your life for a reason. Some of them are going to stay and some of them aren't. I think a lot of people have that gift. And deja vu is like a huge part of my life. And people learn to ignore it. They just ignore it and go, wow, that's so weird. But when you start paying attention and you start seeing the signs and paying attention, you can make amazing changes in your life because you are where you're supposed to be. And instead of fighting it, you're embracing it and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do. I have precog. I am clairsentient, which means I get feelings. I get very clear feelings about things. Sadly, I still ignore them sometimes, which has bitten me in the butt.
Yes.
I am also claircognizant, which means I know things. And again, sometimes you self-doubt kicks in. And that's what society has taught us, is that self-doubt. If we pay attention to those things that we see, feel, and know, it will change the trajectory of our lives.
As soon as, and I don't know how it is for you, Karen, but as soon as I walk into a situation, whether I remember the dream or not, like quite literally, I am instantly on high alert and I recognize the scene.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm like, okay,
absolutely.
where is this leading me? Even if I don't remember, I may not remember the dream.
Yep.
But I'll be like, whoa, this is familiar.
This is familiar. I've
done.
been here.
Yes.
I've seen this. I've heard someone say these words to me. Yes, absolutely. You may not remember the context or the dream, but you know in your soul that
it's like right
you've
here.
already been there.
It's like being chastised. It's like somebody pushing you in the chest. You're like, whoa, oh, okay. So what do I need to do differently? Sometimes I even play with it a little bit because I love the Matrix idea anyway. I'll be like, so what if I do this differently? Because sometimes, and in very rare cases, once the scene plays out in front of my face, I can remember what was going on in the dream. It's a little bit of tidbit of information that just pops into my head. And I'm like, ooh, I've been here before. Okay, so let's do this instead. And see if it doesn't change the outcome. Because I think a lot of times when we receive those messages in our dreams, it's a way for us to go on the right path and make a different decision.
Right. Sometimes it's a warning.
Right.
Sometimes it's a warning.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I have a daughter and she is gifted as well. And right now she's going through a really hard time having nightmares. And, you know, she's coming home and telling me these vivid nightmares. And, you know, I'm like, there's a message here. We just have to figure out what it is because it's not clear. But for anybody out there that is having a child that's having nightmares and trouble like that, I gave her some Reiki charged lepidolite goddess and rose quartz and amethyst points and some other pieces and told her to put them around the room under her pillow. And the next day she was like, oh my God, I slept through the whole night with no nightmares.
Bless. Yes. I think a lot of times, sometimes they come as, you know, in your heart of hearts when it's good and when it's bad.
Right.
You feel it in the dream. And then when you see it play out in front of your face, you're like, okay, there's something I'm supposed to do differently here. And so a lot of times it may not be leading you to a positive place, but it gives you the opportunity to change the outcome of the situation. And keep a dream journal, and I need to follow my own advice.
Right.
Because,
Me too. Me
I'm
too.
the world's worst. I'll get up and I remember that I had the dream, but as your day goes on, you forget what you dreamed about. And then you're in that situation and you're like, oh, and you don't.
I remember
quite know how
part
to
of this,
react.
but not all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
And-
in bits.
And people, don't understand. They're like, oh, I dreamed this. What does it mean? Your dream is not always going to be a direct message. It's going to play with the universe and messages and your life circumstances and your life knowledge. And it's going to play off of that. And I don't think that anyone can look at you and say, oh, you dreamed this, it means this. It's different for everyone.
It's hard to understand what the subconscious is actually trying to send you.
Yep. Very.
Yes.
Very.
Sid, jump in.
I said,
You guys
what
are
are
doing
you doing?
great. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. I'm listening for a change. You don't need me to talk every time. You know what? Though? We are running past our hour time. The Witches, now it's the Witches hour and 15 minute show.
Yeah.
So we're going to end it on that. But tonight there's a show. There's links inside the comments here for the shows that are being aired later on. Be sure to check those out. Let's see here. We'll get a few more comments.
Can we
Timothy
also
says,
invite everybody to join the groups? We have to plug the groups.
Not
Well,
only that,
sure. Why don't we?
Because I shared this all over the internet. There's people that are not in the group that might be seeing this.
feel free to come
Sure.
through and join the Sacred Gates. If you are a vendor, join the Sacred Market Gate.
Yes.
And also, if you are in need of advice or if you feel like you can't reach out to anybody, please feel free to reach out to any one of us on this
Yep.
platform. We will be more than happy to help walk you through your dark times or help you maybe see the light at the end of the tunnel. It means more to me that if you're in a position where you don't know what to do, that you come and you talk to somebody versus you doing something drastic that changes everybody's life. And I think that's something that needs to be said. I don't
Absolutely.
care if it's 2:00 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the afternoon. I will always have my phone in my hand and I'm always available to talk. And these guys are as well. If you feel the need to talk or you just want advice or if you need help on your path, by all means, please reach out.
Absolutely. And we do actually sleep. So it's not that we're ignoring you if we don't answer.
Yes.
We will ignore you when we wake up. we won't ignore you. We'll answer you when we wake up.
No, Karen got it right. She'll ignore everybody.
Sorry.
Karen,
We really
Karen,
will not ignore you. Let's be clear.
Good evening,
We will
Dustin.
not
Good
ignore
evening.
you. That's what I meant.
Good evening, Dustin. I'm good. I'm glad you showed up for tonight. We're getting ready to end the show though, so I'm sorry that you missed. But you can always rewatch it. You can always rewatch it in its entirety.
Absolutely.
So we're going to end the show, guys. Everybody that's out there that's is watching tonight. Thank you for hanging out for the comeback of the Witches Hour. I hope you guys got to learn a little bit of something about us. We got a lot of cool things planned for the future for this show. So hope you guys stay tuned because we're going to be coming back coming up Wednesday. It's going to be at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. Myself, Karen, and Cynthia will be back here doing it Wednesday as well. Next Friday night is the Into the Fire with me and myself, Cynthia and Cody Bentley. Check out all the shows here on Cycle. Check all the shows out on Cycle Mantium 13. Check out all the shows at Cycle Bunny Death Cult. And once again, everybody, thanks for showing up. Cynthia, Karen, thank you, lovely ladies, for doing the show tonight and sharing some of your divine wisdom.
Y'all have a
Thank you
wonderful
for having us.
so much.
I'm going to end
Thanks
the
everyone
show.
for coming.
I'm going to end the
Love
show
y'all.
tonight with another band, Omnia, and it's I can't remember the name of the song, but it's an Omnia song, Free Raw, something like that. Oh, I don't remember. I forget.
Just
But
play the song.
I'm just going to play the song. You guys have a great night. Always remember to live, love, and be free.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
So hey,
Welcome back. Becca.
Technical difficulties.
Whack full of day, diddly-di-do. Fiddle-a-diddly-diddly-di-do. Whack full of day, diddly-di-do. Shoo-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-a-diddly-diddly-di-do. Oh, the beat-a-hooty. Whack full of day, diddly-di-do. Shoo-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-a-diddly-diddly-di-do. Oh, the beat-a-hooty. Whack full of day, diddly-di-do. Shoo-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-a-diddly-diddly-di-do. Oh, the beat-a-hooty. Whack full of day, diddly-diddly-do. Shoo-la-la-no, shoo-la-la-la-no. Fiddle-a-diddly-diddly-di-do. Oh, the beat-a-hooty.